Have you ever flown through Europe and felt like the airport was hiding information from you? You checked in, you got to the airport, and you looked at your boarding pass, but there's no gate number. If you're used to flying in the United States, that feels wrong. In America, most of us are used to knowing the gate early. We get through security, head to the gate, we make sure it's real, and then we decide if we have time for coffee, food, or the restroom. But in many European airports, the process feels completely different. By the end of this video, you'll understand why European airports often wait so long to show you your gate, why the check in process can feel backwards to the American travelers, and 5 things that you can do to make your next Europe travel day feel a lot less stressful. Because once you understand the system, it feels a lot less confusing. Hey, Wanderers, I'm Steve with Wonderworthy Travel. And today we're talking about one of those travel day surprises that can stress people out. Why do European airports feel so different from American airports? Why do they wait so long to show your gate? And what can you do so you are not standing in the middle of the airport thinking, where am I supposed to go? This matters especially if you are planning your first Europe trip, your first Mediterranean cruise, or your first international connection. Because even if you have flown plenty of times in the United States, the European airport system can make you feel like a beginner all over again. Let's start with what most American travelers are used to. It's the day of your flight. You've checked in online, you look at your boarding pass, and you see your boarding time, your departure time, your terminal, and usually your gate. So you go to the airport, and if you're checking a bag, you get in the airline line, you drop your bag, you maybe print a boarding pass if you want one, and then you head to security. You get through security, and what is the first thing most of us do? We go to the gate. We want to see with our own eyes that it's real, and we make sure that the flight is listed on the screen. And we look around and say, okay, this is where I need to be. Then, depending upon how much time we have left, we go to have coffee or food or use the restroom. But mentally, we're anchored. We know where the gate is. We know where we need to be when it's time to come back. And that is the American airport comfort zone. Now, let's look at what happens in many European airports. You check in online, you arrive at the airport, you look at your boarding pass, and there may likely be no gate listed. So now, instead of heading straight into the gate, you walk into the terminal and you see a big wall of screens. But those screens aren't talking about airplanes being delayed or on time, and they don't have your gate information. They may be telling you which check in desk to go to and what bag drop area to use that's assigned to your flight. And this is where American travelers get confused. In the US, we often think in terms of airline. I'm flying American, I'm flying Delta, I'm flying United. But in Europe, you may need to think in terms of the flight number, not just the airline, not just the destination, the actual flight number. Because your airline may have a different check in desk for different flights, different destinations, or different departure windows. So before you even get to security, you may need to look at the board and find your flight number and then find the correct check in area. And that feels backwards if you're used to the American system, but it's not necessarily wrong. It's just different. A lot of European airports are designed around a central departure area. Think shops, cafes, restaurants, duty free, lounges, and big flight decoration screens. Instead of sending everyone to a gate early, the airport keeps passengers in that central area until closer to boarding time. And then the gate appears on the screen, everyone moves, and boarding begins. Now, yes, that's part of passenger flow, and part of it is airport design, and a lot of it is commercial making money because airports would rather have you waiting near restaurants and shops than sitting around in a closed gate hallway with nothing around. But there's an operational reason as well. If the airport announces a gate too early and the aircraft changes, many people will have to walk a long way to a new gate. If a plane is delayed, a gate opens and the airport needs to adjust the flow, they may have more flexibility when passengers are still in the central area. So while it can feel frustrating, the system is actually built around keeping things flexible until the airport is ready to send passengers to where they need to go. Here's tip number one: know your flight number. This sounds simple, but a lot of American travelers do not really use their flight number much. They know the airline, they know the city, and they know the time. But in a European airport, your flight number can be the key to finding the right check in desk, the right bag drop, and eventually the right gate. So before you walk into the airport, know four things: your airline, your destination, your departure time, and your flight number. Don't just say we're flying British Airways to London. Know the actual flight number because that matters. Before flying through Europe, know your flight number. In America, the airline name may be enough. In Europe, the airport screen may send you to a specific check in desk based on your exact flight number. Tip number two: don't use your normal US airport timings as your automatic rule in Europe. In a lot of US airports, the 2 hour rule can feel excessive, especially if you know the airport, you have TSA pre check, you're not checking a bag, and you already know where the gate is. But Europe can be different. You may need to figure out which check in desk serves your flight. You may have passport control to go through. Then you have a different security flow. You may have a longer walk, or you may not know your gate until 20 minutes before boarding. So the extra time is not just sitting time, it's thinking time, screen watching time. It's I'm in a different system and I need a little margin time. Tip number three: don't panic when there's no gate on your arrival. This is probably the biggest emotional difference. In the US, no gate feels like something is wrong. In Europe, no gate may simply mean you're not supposed to go there yet. At many airports, the gate is announced much closer, like 20 minutes before boarding, than Americans are used to. So instead of thinking something might be wrong, think I need to stay near the screens and be ready. Get your coffee, use the restroom, grab a snack, do a little shopping. That's why they will keep you there, but don't wander so far that you're not watching the board, because once that gate appears, the airport may expect you to start moving. No gate on your boarding pass in Europe does not mean panic. It may simply mean the airport has not sent passengers to the gate yet. Stay near the screens and be ready to move. Tip number four: use tools like FlightAware, your airline app, or the airport app for planning. Sometimes FlightAware or an airline app may show a gate before the airport screen does. That can be helpful. It may let you look at the map and say, okay, if this is right, we are probably heading towards that side of the air terminal. Sometimes FlightAware or an airline app may show a gate before the airport screen does. That can be helpful. It may let you look at the map and say, okay, if this is right, we're probably heading toward that side of the terminal. But here's the important part: don't treat that early gate as the final. Treat it as a clue. The airport screen still wins. We've seen this ourselves. You may have an app showing one gate, and then the official board eventually sends you somewhere else. That doesn't mean the app was bad. It may mean the airport changed the gate because another plane was delayed or another different gate opened up and they adjusted operations before sending passengers across the airport. So use the app, use the information, but don't fully commit until the airport confirms it. FlightAware and airline apps can be helpful in European airports, but use them as clues, not gospel. The app may show an early gate, but the airport screen is the final answer. Tip number five: have the airport map ready before you need it. This is one of the easiest things you can do before travel day. Check your airline app. Many of the airline apps now have airport maps or connection tools. Check the airport website, screenshot the terminal map, and if indoor maps are available through Google Maps or Apple Maps, take a look before you're under pressure. Because the worst time to learn the layout of a major airport is 20 minutes before boarding, but when the gate finally appears, you do not want to be standing there with luggage looking at the screen trying to figure out if gate B44 is a 5 minute walk, a train ride, or a full airport workout. Map first, panic never. The worst time to learn a European airport layout is when your gate finally appears. Screenshot the airport map before travel day so you may already have a general idea of where you would be heading. So here's the big takeaway: American airports train us to go to the gate. European airports often train us to wait in a central departure area where all the shopping venues are until the gate is released. Neither system is perfect. In the US, gate changes can send you walking across the terminal. In Europe, late gate announcements can make you feel like you're waiting for secret information to finally be released. But once you understand the difference, it becomes much easier. You stop thinking, why is this airport broken? And you start thinking, okay, this is how the airport flows. And this is exactly why we talk so much about planning the travel day, not just about the destination. because the destination is fun, the cruise, the beaches, the history, the food, and the memories. But the travel day can make people feel overwhelmed if they don't know what to expect. A good travel advisor is not just helping you pick a ship, a resort, or a hotel. We're helping you understand how the pieces fit together, how early to arrive, what the connection might feel like, and whether you should stay near the airport the night before, something I always recommend. Or rather, the short connection is really worth the stress, and how to avoid those little surprises that can make a first big trip feel harder than it really needs to be. So, if you're flying through Europe, remember these 5 tips: know your flight number, arrive earlier than your US comfort zone, do not panic when there is no gate, and use apps as clues, not final answers. And finally, have the airport map ready before you need it. That little bit of preparation can make a European airport feel a lot less confusing. If you're planning your first European trip, Mediterranean cruise, or international connection, comment Europe below. And we'll help you think through the flights, the timing, the hotel, the cruise, and all the little details that can make the trip smoother. And if this helped you feel a little more prepared, subscribe and give this video a like for more travel tips that help you get booked, packed, and gone. Stay wonder worthy.